Hey, I'm Mark Lewis, and you're checking out my signature preset pack for the STL ToneHub plugin. Earlier this year with STL, we spoke about the plugin, and it seemed like a really great idea, almost too good to be true. I sent them some things for them to insert into the ToneHub plugin. When I got it back, I was absolutely blown away. I couldn't believe how real it sounded, how real it felt. That was a big part of it. It was not so compressed. It didn't feel digital. It had the dynamics I needed. The interplay with the volume of the guitar was a lot more real than it was in other modeling boxes. It just really sounded and felt like an amp, and was really the closest I'd ever heard any modeling software get. I mean, closest wouldn't even be the word. I mean, it's exactly there for me. It sounds undetectable. So what people can expect from this preset pack is basically 40 sounds of very useful tones that I use, or would use every day. We used my amps, my gear, my converters, my microphones, and they're very familiar sounds to me and exactly things I would use in a mix. More importantly, there's things in there that you can't really get anywhere else, whether it be pedals or amps or things like that. One of the other things that I really enjoyed being able to do was include my own EQ presets with each sound. That's really important to me, to make sure people understand how I get these sounds to fit in the mix, especially if people think they may sound too big or maybe too bright or too dark or too much low end or whatever it is. They can see how I purposely record something and then dial it back or dial it up to sound how I want. The EQ module in ToneHub is amazing. I think it's more than good enough to be able to sculpt the tone for the mix. I was surprised actually how good it sounded. It was just a great sounding EQ that I could use for the shelving and for the high pass and low pass and parametric parts that I needed. It was really excellent and more than good enough for me to be able to achieve exactly what I need out of the plugin. I guess one of the things I want people to understand is that this is not just a Kemper pack in plugin form. While these presets are available on the Kemper, they are two separate modeling processes. The ToneHub uses its own tracing technology to model these presets. While the Kemper's great, this is a totally different piece of software. Like I said before, I mean, it sounds and feels like the real thing, and I just want everybody to understand that it's not just the Kemper, or not just Kemper profiles in plugin form. These were designed to go in the ToneHub, and no Kemper was involved in making it. So the back end of this plugin has a tracing amplifier technology, which to me is the most accurate snapshot of amps I've heard in software. It sounds absolutely amazing. It can do the amplifier, the cabinet, the stomp box, the microphone, everything, and it sounds undetectable. One of the big things about the plugin is the way the tracing amplifier works, that the tone stack actually models the amp that you're working with. So say you're using a JCM 800, the gain responds in the same way, the bass responds in the same way, the treble, the presence, every amp doesn't have the same tone stack as it would in other modeling software. I would absolutely use this in a final mix. I mean, it shouldn't matter what you're using, all that matters is how it sounds. And if I can't beat this sound with a real amp, then why go through the trouble? I mean, this sounds incredible. There's things I can do with this that I simply can't do with a real amp. So maybe I get the sound and I put it in the ToneHub, and then I tweak it even further to be something that it never could have been had it only been a real amp. It's so much easier to commit nowadays, say in Pro Tools or whatever DAW you're using. Once you have your sound, you just press commit and it's there, and if you don't want to, you have the ability to change it on the fly. So absolutely, I mean, there's no reason why I wouldn't use this in a real mix. This is really just the tip of the iceberg with this preset pack. I did quite a few amps, but only 2 cabinets, and that was on purpose because I have so many cabinets and speakers here that I really spend the time to get each speaker and mic placement dialed in, and I want to do a lot of different flavors with different amps, and then also in the future do more album tone based projects, and really just kind of spend the time dialing things in and giving people as much flexibility as possible in the future. I think this is a great tool for songwriters, especially because it allows you to sound so good so quickly. You don't lose your workflow, you don't lose your idea to trying to dial in a sound that you enjoy. And then pros too. I mean, I think these sounds are every bit as good as the amps that I dialed in. There's just really no compromise in the sound at all. I mean, I think any pro, any producer or engineer could dial these right up and use them on a record and have it sound fantastic.